Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. In today's video I want to share my latest Limestone build, which is this aesthetic dragon. Now the focus of this build isn't necessarily to make this look as much like a dragon as possible, but the main focus actually is on the wings. Because if you pay close attention, you will see that these wings actually are moving up and down. So this dragon actually flaps his wings. Unfortunately, the animation is not really visible when the build is going normal speed, but right now I will insert some sped up footage so you can actually see the flying animation. This is the lowest state of the wing. As you can see, the wing is completely flat. And this here is the highest state of the wing. So right now this side here has moved up by 8 blocks. To make this dragon I had to invent a lot of new stuff for Slimestone. Some of this stuff won't be particularly useful outside this build, for example these wings. However, some stuff that I will show in this video will be extremely useful for other builds like quarries, such as this 3-way wire right here, or some of the controlling circuits in the back. For the remainder of the video I will explain how all these circuits work and how I came up with them. And I will try to do this with some well laid out examples, so everyone, including people who are not that familiar with Slimestone, can understand it. Now let's start with the explanation. So the dragon itself really consists out of two separate systems. One is basically all the Slimestone that is used to create the body. But this Limestone is not that interesting. It's basically a bunch of loose extensions and there is not much interesting or innovating techniques going on here. The second system is the wings, and this is where the innovating part is happening. Now the wings itself are really a separate system, and here you can see that they function on their own. Now when I start new innovating projects like these, I first like to think what systems I actually should need. And for the wings it's pretty apparent that you need a system that somehow kind of changes the angle. So this here represents the wing being down, and you can make the wing go upwards like this, and right now the wing is up. So these systems are actually not too difficult. What happens is each segment here can be in kind of two states. So it can be upwards like this, and it can also be downwards like this. By chaining a lot of extensions like these next to each other, but by pinning the last segments, you can change basically the angle. So with a wing, you're obviously going to place a bunch of these in front of each other. However, the wing doesn't only have to go up and down, but it actually also needs to move forward. Luckily this is quite easy by you can just place a few pistons here to do this. So this system here can all move up. And the pistons here allow for all segments to also be pushed in the third direction. Now next up I needed some kind of special wire that basically takes over the job for all these flying machines. Now this wire needs to be able to go up, down and move in the third direction. And here I also needed to come up with a new wire, because so far most wires actually only go in two directions. This is an example of such a wire. So as you can see, you can push it and you can pull it, but you can't really move it in the third direction. So all these extended pistons are in the way. There actually exist a bunch of these wires. For example, here is a different type. Also goes in both directions, but also for this one, all these extended pistons just make it impossible to move in the third direction. There actually is one wire that can do this. You can see it right here. This wire is made by Xire, and well, this wire is just amazing. I mean, look at this. It goes in one direction quite easily. It also goes in the other direction, and you can actually also push this in the third direction. So this here is exactly what I need. However, there's one problem. Right now the two directions go horizontally like this and like this, but for the wings they obviously need to go up and down. And you can't just make this wire go up and down because it uses bit powering right here, and basically this doesn't work if you try to rotate this. Also, pretty much all other instant wires also do not work in the other direction. So for example, take the first system. As you can see, downwards works fine, but if you try to make it go upwards, you just get issues with bit powering. And this is pretty much the case for all two-way instant wires. And this is where I came up with a new instant wire. This is what you can see right here. As you can see, it goes upwards fine, and it also goes downwards. And this is quite a cool system. So it works vertically, it also works horizontally. What is even cooler is that you can attach a lot of blocks to it. So as you can see right here, I attached 12 blocks on this side, and I can also attach 12 blocks on this side. So this here is a new type of two-way wire for Slimestone, and I will probably make a separate video about this wire. By modifying the concept a little bit, you can also make the wire go in the third direction. So here you can see it moves up, it also moves down, and if you push just at the right place, you can also make it go in the third direction. You have to do it like this, and then the wire goes in the third direction. And this is actually what I needed for the system. Now I could attach this wire to the end of the wing system. So here you can see it will move the wings up, and it can go all the way up until it reaches the highest point, like this. And then I can also just bring this wire down again, and this brings the wing to the default state. Now both these wires and the wing itself actually can be pushed forward. So here you can see the pistons that you need to do this. And now all that's left to do is make a system that will move this wire one block upwards, then push the entire wing one block forward, then go one block up again, one block forward, all the way until the wing reaches the highest position. And then you have to kind of invert the sequence and go down one block, move forward, go down, move forward, etc. until the wing is down again. Now for the system I basically decided to use a semi-automatic flying machine like this. As you can see, if you power one of these pistons, it will move up, and it keeps going up until it reaches a certain state, and then it goes down again. And obviously then if you take an output from this flying machine, it will go for example down. Right now you would move it forward, then it goes down again, you can move it forward, down again, move it forward all the way until it reaches the lowest position, then upwards, go forward, etc. So all I had to do is make this system actually movable, but this turned out to be quite a big challenge. First of all, I can't just move all these observers because this will just start pulsing like crazy. So you can see that right here. If I move this, it just, well, this flying machine gets totally messed up. So I was thinking, well, maybe I can actually change these observers just to, for example, glass, and make the flying machine go up and down by itself, because all of the observers will basically pulse anyway when they are moved. So I tried to just move it like this, but as you can see, this doesn't really work well. Another issue is when the flying machine is going down, it will be in this state, but when it goes up, it will be in this state, so separated. And the problem is that this actually is way harder to move forward. So as you can see, this totally messes up as well. This meant that I had to use a bit of a different flying machine. And now this flying machine here is known to be a lot harder to break. So I decided to go for this flying machine. But as you can see, right now it doesn't even move up or down when you move it forward. And this obviously is also an issue because you want it to go up or down when you move it forward. And this is where I was able to find a solution. So basically the reason why it doesn't go up and down is when you move this, both of these pistons will be activated at the same time. I mean, these observers and this observer will be moved at the same time, and thus they power the pistons at the same time. So to move up or down, you only want to power this piston. So the solution is quite simple. You can just move this observer here preemptively. So right now this flying machine should actually go one block upwards when it is being moved. As you can see, just like that. Now basically you don't have to just move the observer, you can also move the entire top segment, and this will still work fine as well. Now this here is the final system that does this all fully automatic. If I activate this, you can see that this flying machine here is right now going down and being moved forward. And when it reaches the bottom, it will basically change directions. So if I were to take an output from this flying machine, then this output will go forward, downwards, forward, downwards, forward, downwards until it's completely in the bottom position, and then it will start going forward, upwards again. So this flying machine right now gives the desired outputs, and I can make the wings working by connecting them to this flying machine. So right now I explained all the individual pieces that make up the wing. Right here you can see the last piece, the flying machine that goes up and down. When this flying machine goes down, it will also move down the three-way wire that I talked about earlier. When this wire goes down, it will drag basically the entire wing down, like this. Now I hope that this explanation is sufficient to make you understand the mechanics behind these wings. So I want to end the video with one last animation of this dragon flying, because I think it looks really cool. And then I will see you guys in the next video.